Hello. How's everybody's Tuesday going so far? Hopefully pretty well. Thanks for tuning in, checking out this very, for me at least, I think, very cool topic. So, we're kind of talking about Herbie Hancock a little bit, his experiences back in the day with Miles Davis, and how those influenced him, and then in turn influenced, a lot of other people, including myself. So, hopefully, it's a subject that's of interest to some of you out there, and maybe can help you out as it helped me out once. So, yeah. Hey, Sean. All right. So we're just gonna groove on a little something here. Hey, thanks a lot, Grandma. Appreciate that. Yeah, start going and not even realizing it. I normally put that up a little bit for my online lessons, but that song was called "Maiden Voyage" by Herbie Hancock. And this goes very much into what, in line with what we're going to talk about a little bit tonight, with the topic, the butter notes. The butter notes? What the heck is that all about, right? What are we like, huh? That? What? What does that mean? So there's a funny story. And if you've watched Herbie Hancock in his DVD sort of documentary Possibilities, it's pretty cool. He has all kinds of quotes with working with Miles Davis back in the day, Miles Davis Quintet. You got Tony Williams on drums, Ron Carter on bass, Wayne Shorter on saxophone, who he ended up getting many other musical projects going with. I actually saw those two back in the day, Herbie Hancock and Wayne Shorter, live at the Boulder Theater in Boulder, Colorado. And that show was way too heady for me. I was super young. I got really sleepy and fell asleep halfway through, but it just wasn't at the right time. Right now, I would have been all over it, Anyway, so there's a few stories. So one of the stories is Herbie is doing he's feeling depressed. He's been playing for a while, and just all of his solos, all of his chords, all the notes just are starting to sound the same. This is what happens to people. We do this in music and other walks of life. We get stuck in a rut, and he literally got actually fairly depressed about it. He's pretty bummed out, didn't really know what to do, and so they're playing a show, New York, I want to say. I can't remember the name of the club, and so he's just bumming out about the whole thing, and they play a tune, and he's like, he just plays. He's like, oh, this isn't going very well. Okay, well, whatever. And Miles Davis can sense his frustration and comes over after the song's over and says, as only he can, "Hey man, don't play those butter notes." And Herbie goes, "Don't play those butter notes? Like what does that mean?" Right? It's a great mystery. And now there have been other people that have said, and Herbie himself even changes this story, but sometimes kind of goes with whatever, but has said that maybe Miles said, "Don't play all those bottom notes." I've also heard Herbie Hancock say in Possibilities, "Man, just don't play all those notes," So, but it's like, what does that mean either? Don't play all those notes. I mean, what does that mean? Don't play all those notes? So just play one of them, or what? Don't play the butter notes? What does this all mean, right? This is a fun story. You can look it up. Look up Herbie Hancock butter notes. Or just watch Possibilities. It is fantastic. And so he was thinking about this, the next song is about to start, right? So he's thinking, they're in D minor, let's say. So you've got the root as D, the third is F, the fifth is A, and the seventh is C or C sharp, depending on what song you're playing. And so what gives a chord its character is these two notes, the third and the fifth. Otherwise, it's root and fifth just kind of, third and seventh, excuse me. The root and the fifth just sounds like anything. Could be major, could be minor, could be whatever. Could be any song. So instead of playing this chord, which sounds pretty nice, that's D minor 7, he takes out the minor third and takes out the seventh. And all of a sudden that chord, without those notes in it, just sounds like this. It's like, oh, that's cool. What about some other notes in there? What about the sixth? What about the fourth? And all of a sudden, it starts to change the whole tonality of this chord you're on, and then the song. Because if you play the whole song like that, it's like, whoa, okay, that's pretty sweet. So we're gonna play. Let's play another a tune, maybe something a little bit more familiar, and then we'll play the song again without the thirds and the fifths in there, just to see how it sounds. So we'll just play a blues. We'll just play a blues song and check it out and see what it sounds like. So I'll play the melody. We'll take a little bit of a solo, kind of in the standard way, using all those thirds and sevenths, and the chords having their thirds and sevenths. And then we'll take a brief pause and go without thirds and sevenths in the chords and in the melody, in the solo, and in the bass. And just it's a pretty big difference. It sounds completely different. So now when Herbie Hancock did this on, I think it was on the song So What? When he started to play this style without the thirds and sevenths, like the crowd just kind of went crazy. And he didn't think it was that good of a solo, but it gave him somewhere to go. It gave him some inspiration to get out of this, rut he was in, and this feeling that he just wasn't playing well. He was frustrated with his playing, and that all of a sudden just led him into a whole other territory. Now, is that what Miles Davis knows? Who knows? Jackson, what's up, dude? Bitches Brew is great. That is great. I don't know if I have a chart for it, but I could absolutely play that at some point. I don't know if it's going to tie in with this subject tonight, but you never know. So, anyway, we're just going to play, for all you drinkers out there, Straight No Chaser, Felonious Monk tune. And we'll play it standard, all the thirds and sevenths, and we're going to take all the thirds and sevenths out of, like, if only you could just be, like, literally erase them from the piano as you played, it would look crazy and sound different, but we'll do it anyway. So now let's take a solo and let's play it without those thirds and sevenths. And that really brought about just like a whole change in the demeanor of the vibe that we had. We had this whole bluesy thing, and it went into this whole nother feeling, you know. And then, hey, Dad. And then we just did some other stuff. It kind of inspired me in the moment just to be creative too, you know. Thirds and sevens, just the good notes. So it's a pretty fun experiment to do when you're playing on something. If you're feeling like you're bored and you don't really know what to do with your playing, take something out. It's not actually about adding something into your playing. It's like, I'm missing something. I must be adding that one thing. I'm missing that one thing. What you're probably missing is actually the space. So when we take two notes out, being the thirds and the sevens, all of a sudden that limits what we can play and makes us think harder, and therefore come up with new things we maybe would have never done before at all. It's pretty cool. And this was as a personal moment when I saw the movie Possibilities of Herbie Hancock's. I was very inspired, and I immediately went and played Maiden Voyage because I was like, wait, that's a song there are no thirds in that whole song already. This is great. So why not add them back in and take something else out? You know, I kind of went the opposite way with it, and I came up with something else, which is pretty fun. So normally the song sounds like this. Great tune. So the third is in my thumb here. Fourth to the third. And all of a sudden I felt a little Latin flavor. Same thing. Thumb is the fourth to the third. And that's a lot of fun to mess around with that. And that was all thanks to Herbie. I ended up arranging the tune for a Latin salsa band, and we ended up performing that tune quite a bit actually, and it was a blast, especially that double time. It's a blast. Anyway, so this all stems from that question that Miles Davis asked Herbie Hancock on that fateful evening, which was, man, he's like, don't play all those butter notes, huh? Right? And it's funny. Here's I got to share this with you all too. Check this out. So this is actually the one of the other moments that happened. Let's see here. There we go. From Herbie Hancock Possibilities, and it's a book too, which I highly recommend. Oh my gosh, this hat is way too hot. So if you haven't watched the DVD, I can hear myself better. This is great. Or read the book, I highly recommend them both. Herbie is a amazing musician and person as well. So anyway, this is a quote from Herbie Hancock. So I'm on stage at Concert Hall in Stockholm, Sweden, in the mid-1960s, playing piano with Miles Davis Quintet. We're on tour and this show is really heating up. The band is tight, we're all in sync, all on the same wavelength. The music is flowing, we're connected with the audience, and everything feels magical, like weaving a spell. Tony Williams, the drumming prodigy who joined Miles as a teenager, is on fire. Ron Carter's fingers are flying up and down the neck of his bass. And Wayne Shorter's saxophone is just screaming. The five of us become one entity, shifting and flowing with the music. We're playing one of Miles' classics, So What? And as we hurtle towards Miles' solo, it's the peak of the evening. The whole audience is on the edge of their seats. Miles starts playing, building up his solo, and just as he's about to really let loose, he takes a breath, and right then I play a chord that is just so wrong. I don't even know where it came from. It's the wrong chord. It's the wrong place, and I'm hanging out there like a piece of rotten fruit. I think, oh shit. As it's been building this gorgeous house of sound, I just accidentally put a match to it. Miles pauses for a fraction of a second, then he plays some notes that somehow miraculously make my chords sound right. In that moment, I believe my mouth actually fell open. What kind of alchemy was this? And then Miles Davis just took off from there, unleashing a solo that took the song in a new direction. The crowd went absolutely crazy. I was in my early 20s, and I'd been with Miles for a couple of years by then. But he always was capable of surprising me. And that night, when he somehow torn my chord from a wrong to a right, he definitely did. In the dressing room after the show, I asked Miles about it. Felt a little sheepish, but Miles just pointed at me, a hint of a smile on his chiseled face. He didn't say anything. He didn't have to. Miles was one of those, was one to talk a whole lot about things, but he could show us something instead. It took me years to fully understand what happened in that moment on stage. As soon as I played that chord, I judged it. In my mind, it was the wrong chord. But Miles never judged. He just heard as a sound that it happened. And he instantly took it on as a challenge, a question of how could I integrate a chord into everything else we're doing. Because he didn't judge it, I was able to run with it, to turn it into something amazing. Miles trusted the band, and he trusted himself, and he always encouraged us to do so. This is one of the many great lessons I learned from Miles Davis. Hey, what's up, Cam? Dude, I'll see you in like an hour, right, man? Chris, Tracy, hey. lot of fun. And being that I do play piano, I can kind of I can feel the positions of certain chords. But a lot of the time when I'm playing, I just kind of let go and just see what happens, and I'll just be like amazed at what my left hand comes up with. It'll just play this crazy thing that I never thought of. Like tonight, that was great. There was something new that I haven't played. I mean, maybe by accident once, but never paid attention to it. This G flat chord, super cool. And I would have never found that if I hadn't just been messing around. So fun. And that chord, I mean, we can. What do you want to call it? You know what? You can call it like an actual chord. You say, oh, it's a G flat minor 7 with a 4 and a 6. That's cool. Or you can just say, it's this thing I did, and it sounds good. And that's most of the time how I look at these situations, is just as a pattern and as a moment in time. And don't really worry about what it is and label it. Like, I don't need to, give it its scientific name, its plant name, and label all the different things about it. That can come in time, but for the moment, just I'm just enjoying it. That chord. All right, so I feel inspired by this moment here. This is cool. So let's let's look at that chord here a little closer. So that's, oh man, that's really bright. That's okay. You can still sort of see here. So we got E, A, B, and then E flat. That already sounds like some theme song from a movie. Wrong recording thing. Anyway, that's pretty sweet. Not sure what I'll do with that, but I love it. It's a new fun thing. Cam, heck yeah, dude. I will see you, in about 40 minutes, buddy. Rock on, man. See you soon. We got hockey tonight, folks. It's going to be great. Hopefully we can keep that going if we all are smart about the precautions in effect. Let me take a look at my notes here as well. So something about what I was just playing and improvising here a little bit, and to speak with what Miles Davis was talking about, Herbie Hancock, at least my interpretation of it, because I wasn't there. I'm just reading these things online or watching them in a film. And who knows what Miles Davis actually meant, but it opened up a personal doorway for Herbie Hancock, for him to explore and to be open to trying something new on stage. That's one of the scariest places to do something new. You never practiced it. Hopefully you've been doing your scales and your rudiments and you can, give it a go, right? But things that come to mind with that, and Herbie says some of these in his in this YouTube and Possibilities itself, but courage, conviction, confidence, even ethics in music, trust, and intention. I mean, the list can go on. Like, these are all positives, you know. There's not fear and things like that. This is all really important things to do when you're playing music, and it takes a while to get to that point because we are fearful of, like, oh my gosh, what if we hit the wrong note? Well, the beauty of that is there ain't no wrong notes in jazz. Right? If you need to if you feel like that's the sound you want, sure, do that. But what if all of a sudden, what if you screw up and you do this? Well, that sounded okay to me. I don't know about you all. That sounded kind of cool. I'm like, all right, that's sweet. Very wrong notes. But if I didn't have that confidence instilled from so many great teachers over the years and other players, telling me to keep it up, family, friends, et cetera, right? That I wouldn't want to try those things. I would just be fearful and just want to kind of just go in the hole of normalcy and just play the stuff that's on the page, and I'll just play the same scales and stuff like that. And that's okay too. There's nothing wrong with that. But if it's coming from a point of courage and conviction and loyalty to yourself and your music, then I'm all about it. But if it's coming from somewhere else, I might be like, maybe let's tweak that mindset just a little bit. Just a little bit. Try to step outside the comfort zone. And man, a great way to do that is to play with other people, or to get a teacher. There's plenty of teachers online, and or to get someone to do online lessons with, like I do these days. So Sean's got an interesting point over there on Twitch. He says, one of your turning points when you're younger was when you played a wrong note and the teacher said to play the wrong note a few more times to make it look like you meant it, then play around with it. Yeah, they totally did, Sean. That was it was my second jazz teacher. I've had 4. No, I guess there's a lot more than that if I count all the camps I did. But anyway, one of my main jazz teachers growing up, Paul Catunia, who's in the Denver area. And because I was playing something. It's like I got rhythm. And I was playing something, I hit the wrong note. So, I mean, I sort of messed up the melody there too, but just kind of go with it, So let's play it wrong, intentionally. That's a key word right there. And just have fun with it. 1, 2, 3, 4. You open all kinds of things to be creative with. It's pretty fun. So this is a topic I'd love to chat about again. But some songs to play around with this would be, if you want to do the Herbie Hancock route, would be Maiden Voyage. It was a great choice. Let's see what else we got. Watermelon Man, Cantaloupe Island, Dolphin Dance. Chameleon even is great. Chameleon is a blues. I mean, shoot, Yeah, and still is a good point too. It's all in the Jamie Aebersold books, and that's a great place to kind of start. So this is two chords. It's B flat 7 and E flat 7. So let's comp them normally. So a solo is built up of, I call it basic three things. You got your scale. And there could be a few of those. That's the B flat mixolydian. You got B flat blues. You can also change with the chords. So we got B flat, E flat. So you do pentatonics. And each one of them has their own vibe, you know? And just see what you feel good with and just do that. So I'm kind of doing a little combination of things, but also playing some really wrong notes. So B flat, E flat, wrong notes would be B, E. But we can make them sound good, right? Oh, just go to B flat. It says this Egyptian. All kinds of possibilities. And again, that's the name of the book, by Herbie Hancock, and also the DVD that he made with a bunch of like pop artists, jam artists, Latin artists, Christina Aguilera, Santana, Trey Anastasio from Fish, Sting. I mean, shoot, the list goes on. I can't remember everyone on that thing, but oh, it's good. It's good. So let me leave you all here with something. Maybe we can do a couple tunes. I guess we'll see what happens. There's two of those other songs we were talking about. We've got Cantaloupe Island and Dolphin Dance. So Dolphin Dance is more chill, and then Cantaloupe is more funky, bluesy. Anyone have any preference? Let me know, and we'll play it. We'll play it for you as the final number is of the evening. Again, thanks for everyone tuning in. This is a topic that is very near and dear to my heart. Playing the wrong notes and realize that they're actually the right note if you play them a few times in a row, or you're half step away from a good note, no matter which direction you want to go. It's learning to be comfortable with all those notes. You know, the good, the bad, the ugly. Hey, it's all good. I knew you'd want Cantaloupe Island, Dad. I know you love that song. You got it, man. You got it. So this solo is kind of like a blues. So in blues songs are typically you kind of stick in one key, like the blues F in this case. F, A flat, B flat, B, C, E flat, F. And then as high as your instrument you care to take it. One thing I'd recommend if you're playing a blues scale, by the way, is don't always start on the root and end on the root. That's how we practice the scale, but I would actually recommend practicing the scale going third to third. Fourth. Sharp fourth. Fifth. Seventh. It doesn't sound as much like a scale, it sounds more like a melody if you start to do that. And then you can start to find little cool things in there. But I got off on a tangent earlier. The three things you want for a solo. You want the scale, but you also want licks and quotes, which are kind of the same thing. So a lick is something that has been done before, and maybe even by you. A classic lick is... Sonny Rollins kind of made it. I don't remember. It's in every style of music ever. Classical, hip-hop, heavy metal, Latin, everything. Doesn't matter. It's a great lick. And then the last thing is quotes, which quoting is like quoting a melody. So it could be sort of a lick thing too. But, you know, you want to quote Power Rangers. You want to quote another jazz song, you know. In your tune, whatever the key is. So, yeah, we could always mess around with those different ideas. So I'm going to be throwing those three things, a lot of scales, a lot of licks, a lot of quotes, hopefully of some songs that you are familiar with, and then also some outside of the box type stuff. So here we go. Cantaloupe Island. You lost count, Liesel? Yeah, me too. I wasn't really keeping track. I just knew that that was my intention for that solo, was to play a bunch of those different things. And that's sometimes how I have to approach it. If in a moment I'm like, I'm about to go into a solo, I'm like, oh God. I look into the audience and see if there's any students in there. I'm like, oh, that's sweet. If there's a student there, I can play something that maybe they'll learn from. Or I just remember, what if I'm the student right now? And I can remember what a teacher once told me in that moment, which is hard to do. Sometimes it doesn't work, and I just, flop on my face and I play what I think is a terrible solo. But apparently it's just in my own head, because most people are like, oh my God, that was the best thing you ever played. And I go, all right, But it's also why I record almost every single time I'm practicing improvisation or even just a song, to listen back and learn from what I did, mistakes or no. You can learn from anything, if you're open to it. So, yeah, I think that's all I got, guys. I kind of want to keep playing, but I got to get ready and get out of here. So, we'll leave you until this Friday. And let me take a gander here Do I have anything I want to tell you all about? I do. I do actually have something to mention. So next week on Tuesday, we're talking about a very similar thing, which is modal scales, which is, let's not even go into it. Modal scales. They sound cool. Let's just say that. They're not necessarily major or minor. They're kind of a combination of everything. They're pretty cool. And how you can find them on any key you want to play in, and some maybe songs that you can mess around with as well. So that's going to be really, really fun. And then the Friday, let's see here, where is it? So Friday, we got a bunch of really good requests the last 2 weeks when I did the British pop songs. Halloween, I don't think we're going to do all the Halloween songs so much, but we got a lot of other good requests. Some Debussy, we got some, oh my gosh, Billy Joel, thank you, Brain, John Cleary, all kinds of cool requests. So this week, this Friday, we're going to go and delve into, all kinds of cool stuff. I just remember another one. Some Sting, some Fields of Gold, some other British, UK folks that we didn't get a chance to play everything. There were so many songs we didn't get to play last week because of the British pop songs, but we got to a fair amount of them. So anyway, where's this thing here? Ed Sheeran tune. So we'll maybe mess around with that a little bit next week. Peter Gabriel we didn't get to, Annie Lennox, Elvis Costello, the list goes on. Van Morrison. I don't think we did any Van Morrison either. So be sure to tune in every Friday evening. And I have to give one giant shout out. Jeff, I don't know if you're here, if you even tuned in tonight, man. But if you are, Jeff, thank you so much. He says, thanks for the tunes, my friend, and thanks for all you do at Stillwater. No problem, man. I appreciate it, and I really appreciate you with what you do for Stillwater and for Durango, the community, and then for that massive donation, man. That's just awesome, man. I really appreciate it. It is 3 figures, my friends. It is just amazing. So thank you, Jeff. That is not his first donation either. It's so helpful. Going to really keep this stream going. So, all that being said, when you're playing music, just remember, don't play the butter notes.